yeah, how was your trip?
Oh, it was great. We had a great time. Yeah, it's beautiful weather. Yeah, it was fun.
That's the key thing on vacations.
You went on certain kind of temples and things like that?
No, we
or?
went to Portugal.
Oh, Portugal. Oh, that's right. Okay. It was in Japan. It was Portugal. Oh, yeah, that's great. The food?
Food like there? Did they have anything like Tempura?
No, a lot of seafood though.
Ooh.
A lot of seafood.
Yeah.
I fear we may be on the air already, so we are going to begin the Shotsuki Hoyo service for the month of May for the Pasadena Buddhist Temple. Kathy McLean will be our chairperson, and I will be the guy ringing the calling bell with Kansho in just a minute to begin the service. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life, Namo. Namo Butsu, Namo Butsu, Namo Butsu, Namo Butsu, Namo Butsu.
I'd like to welcome everyone to our service this morning. And first, I'd like to thank all the people who make this service possible. Reverend Gregory Gibbs, and our organist will be here soon, Kathy Kumagai. Flowers, Kyoko Okura Gibbs. And the streaming of the services is done by Alan Goto and Kathy Kumagai. On the first Sunday of each month, we observe the monthly memorial service, Shotsuki Hoyo, in honor of those members of our Buddhist community who have passed away during the respective month in which this service is being held. Sensei will now read the names of those loved ones who passed away in the month of May, in whose memory this morning's service is being conducted. For those of you observing today's service in recognition of family members or friends who have passed away, please come forward as Sensei reads the name of your departed loved one to offer incense in their honor.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. And Kathy Mikuni is our chairperson, Kathy Kumagai, our organist, Alan Goto, our tech and video person, and I just do the talking. I'm going to give our organist a minute to get set up here. I'm going to be reading the Shotsuki Hoyo list, the list of those we know have passed in the month of May. And if you've lost someone in the month of May, please accept my sincere condolences. Reading now our Shotsuki Hoyo list for the month of May, Amasuge Kyoko, Alima Tomo Saburo, Endo Gihe, Fujimoto Kimi, Fujimoto Masao, Fukuwa Yuriko Betty, Goto Chikako, Hamano Shinajiro, Hashimura Gary Akira, Hernandez Setsuko Sonoki, Ikeda Dr. Kazuo, Ikeda Kiichi, Kawamoto Yuichi, Kawamura Randy, Kikawa Alan, Kishaba Kiyoko, Kuramoto Kaori, Kuramoto Stephen, Marumoto Kunitoshi, Matsumoto Rokuichi, Mito Aiji, Miyagishima Genkichi, Miyamoto Kome, Miyashita Shinichi, Murashige George, Naito Sasako, Nakajima Nui, Nakamoto Kenichi, Nakamura Tani, Nakashimo Hirose, Nishimoto Jin Kaoru, Nishimura Ki, Numa Toranosuke, Ogata Y, Okuno Heiji, Okuno Tane, Okutani Koshimo, Onishi Katsuto, Otani Waka, Sakuda Ushi, Sato Ayako, Sato Henry Yoshio, Shimoda Tokiko, Shinmoto Bill, Shirozu Iso, Suechika Tom, Sunada Yuku, Sunairi Chieko, Takemoto Mitsuyo, Takemoto Mitsuyo, Tamanaha Kokichi, Tanaka Hiroshi, Tanaka Minoru, Tanaka Ryotaro, Tanaka Sute, Tanaka Yone, Tasaki Hyakutaro, Tsukimoto Mary Yoshie, Ushijima Helen Mori, Utsumi Helen Chieko, Wakabayashi Nobuki, Watanabe Mitsu, Yamada Sentaro, Yamamoto Yoshikyo, Yamasaki Toshimi, Yamashita Shigeichi Jack, Yamane Tatsuo, Yusa Hatsuo. These are the members and friends we know we've lost in the month of May. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo.
Thank you very much, Sensei, and our deepest sympathies to all those who passed away this month. Will the Sangha please rise for a short reflective reading, meditation? I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not the one who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Nelson Mandela. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida
Namo
Butsu.
Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Will you please be seated? And Sensei will now lead us in the Sutra chanting. Today it will be Sambutsuge, page 33 of your service book, or it will be shown on the screen.
Busatsu Daimuryo Jukyo Sanbutsuge Kogin Gigi Ijin Mugoku Nyode Enmyo Muyo Tosha Ichigatmani Shuko Enyo Aishtonpe Yunyaku Jumoku Nyorai Yogen Chote Murin Shogaku Daion Koryu Jipo Kaimon Chojin Sammai Chie Itoku Muryo Kusho Keu Yentai Zennen Shobuten Hokai Gujin Jinno Kungo Gaitai Mumyo Yokonu Seison Yomu Inno Shishi Jintoku Muryo Kukun Kodai Chie Jinmyo Komyo Iso Shindo Daisen Ganga Sabuten Daisho Ho Kado Shoji Mihu Gedaten Kutei Joi Kainin Shojin Myode Sammai Chie Ijo Kotei Tokubuten Fugyo Shigan Isai Kuku Isa Dayon Keshi Ubuten Yakuten Nokuman Muryo Daisho Shunyo Godya Kuyo Isai Shito Shobut Fugyo Gudo Kansho Hungyaku Kinyo Godya Shobuten Sekai Ufu Kage Mushu Setendo Komyo Shisho Tenshi Shokoku Yode Shojin Ijin Nanryo Yoga Sabuten Kokudo Daichi Goshu Kimyo Dojo Chosen Kokunyon Nayon Nimu Toso Gato Aimin Nodaten Isai Jippo Raisho Shinneten Shoujo Ito Gakoku Keiraku Anon Kobuten Shinmyo Sega Shinsho Otsugan Nohi Rikisho Shoyoku Jippo Seison Chie Muge Yoryo Shison Shiga Shingyo Keiryo Shinshi Shoku Dokuchu Agyo Shojin Ninju Huke Namandabu 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 Gani shikudoku byodo sei isai don mona ishina onyo Namanda Burmanda Namanda 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 Burmanda Namo Amida Butsu Namanda Butsu Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you very much, Sensei. Will the Sangha please rise for Gatha? And it will be Namo Amida Butsu, page 136. And if you could remain standing for the reflective reading led by Sensei. So if everyone could rise for the Gatha. If you could remain standing, Sensei will do the reflective recitation, the three treasures on page 10 of your service book.
Thank you, Kathy. The three treasures. How rare and wondrous it is to have been born into human life, and now I live in it. How rare and wondrous it is to be able to listen to the Dharma, and now I am able to hear it. If I do not transcend the world of delusion in this life, when will I ever attain spiritual liberation? May I, along with the entire Sangha, with sincere heart and mind, rely on that which can be truly relied on in life, the three treasures. I rely on the Buddha. May I, along with all sentient beings, awaken to the great path with my entire being and discover the highest aspiration, which is to become a Buddha. I rely on the Dharma. May I, along with all sentient beings, deeply reflect on the meaning of the sutras and gain wisdom that is as deep and vast as the ocean. I rely on the Sangha. May I, along with all sentient beings, become one Sangha of life, able to move forward and live with a dynamic spirit that is hindered by nothing. The unsurpassed, deep, and wondrous Dharma, even in millions of kalpas, is extremely difficult to encounter, but now I am able to experience and embrace it. May I come to understand and revere the true meaning of the Tathagata. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Please be seated.
Now we will have the Dharma message from Reverend Gregory Gibbs.
Well, again, good morning. Thank you for joining us in cyberspace or in person. I again will thank Kathy Mikuni for being our chairperson, Alan Goto for videography and tech support, Kathy Kumagai for tech support and organ playing, and my wife who's playing in Japan right now, who did the flowers before she left. We kept them in the refrigerator. The theme for today's Dharma talk will be transformation, but let me first just again say a few words about the fact that it's our Shotsuki Hoyo service for the month of May. This service is dedicated to those whose names I read earlier. If you lost someone in May, I'm very sorry. Please accept my sincere condolences. My Aunt Margaret passed away in May of 2013. And although she never married or had children, she was the matriarch of the family. She was the one who wrote the letters, made the phone calls, got us together for family outings, let us know when someone passed on, let us know when someone was getting married, let us know when someone was about to have a baby. So she was a tremendous loss when she passed. And really, if you ask my wife, she'll tell you my family has really not been communicative since she passed. They all depended on her. Everybody relied on her to make those calls and send those letters. So I miss her. And I suspect many of you have someone that passed this month that you miss. Now, again, the theme will be transformation. I'm not going to talk at great length, but the Japanese language term for transformation is tenzuru. And if you look in the dictionaries, that's a lot of translations for this one word. Tenzuru, usually transform, also shift, alter, change, turn around, turn about, move, be transformed, be transferred, rotate, revolve, evolve, be made to appear. Tenzuru. Well, transform, what does this mean? What does it mean to transform? We want to transform. We want to change from suffering to happy, from deluded to insightful. We want to change. We want to transform our stupidity into wisdom. We want to transform our greed into generosity. We want to transform our hatred into kindness. But how is such a turning around of those negative propensities to be accomplished? How do you turn around a negative propensity? Now, in Tibetan Buddhism or Vajrayana Buddhism, there seems to be a theory in some ways similar to Freud's, that what's at play here is energies or urges that can be redirected. Now, Freud's idea, which makes a lot of sense, is that a long process of cultural development throughout history leads human beings to take some primitive impulses and direct those impulses towards creating science and art and technology and religion. And that is true. That is what happens. But this one kind of Buddhist idea that we can just take our hatred and turn it into righteousness or something, I don't understand that. Yeah, that's really a bit naive, I think. The Vajrayana or Tibetan Buddhist idea that we can just change those urges in ourselves with some sort of meditation or deep breathing, I'm not confident in that. That approach, though, is more than 1,000 years old. The earlier approach, the 2,500-year-old Buddhist approach, and the approach that the mature schools of the Mahayana, that's us, the mature schools of the Mahayana, we also have this approach, and that is to just shift what you're looking at, to change how you're thinking. The transformation involves a change of focus. We don't try to turn our hateful urges into love. That's just not possible for me. We don't know how to achieve that kind of an alchemy. Instead, we redirect our attention. We redirect our attention towards something positive, to something that brings warmth and caring into our hearts and minds. Think about your children. Think about your parents. Remember what you believe in. Remember what your values are. Think about the Buddha's vow, promised to all of us. The vow of Amida Buddha, the vow of the Buddha of limitless wisdom, light, and endless life, the promise of universal liberation, the promise of liberation for all, is an act of inclusion. Our way of transforming from lonely and unwholesome resentment to healing fellowship is a way of inclusion, being included into a broader community, into a broader reality. The vow of the Buddha is to awaken all of us. The promise of freedom, goodness, and joy is extended to all living beings. Inclusivity is the essence of our form of religiosity, our style of Buddhism. Inclusivity is what it's all about. The commitment of Amida Buddha is a commitment to all of us. The Buddha is all of us. The Buddha is all of us. The Buddha is absolute subjectivity that takes us into itself, this great intermingling pool of experience and light and memory and vision. The Buddha is all of us. Amida Buddha is the ocean-like subjectivity into which all of our thoughts, feelings, and experiences flow. Now these days, just currently, here in May 7th of 2023, my feelings include anger at those who belittle and oppress members of the LGBTQ plus community. I'm going to have some anger in me about this. How can I turn anger into love? Not in some direct way. Not in some way I take my hands and turn my feelings. Not in some direct way. I just can't redirect this angry urge into a loving channel. That's a bit naive. And I am going to continue to make some reference this week to the burning of the rainbow flag on our gate 13 days ago. We are inclusive of everyone. We invite everyone. Enlightenment is life waking up to itself. It's impossible to exclude anyone, any living thing. This is what's waking up, is life itself. Buddhism is very inclusive. We have about 200 schools, more than that many styles of Buddhism. But in our denominational founder, Shinran Shonin, told us that Amida Buddha's vow is like a huge ocean of pure water into which everything flows. So if my muddy little stream is smelly and contaminated with anger, still, when it flows into the vast, pure, accepting ocean of universal enlightenment, it's all right. Once my anger and stupidity flow into this great universal ocean of goodness, which is life itself, all that there is left is clear, pure, clean water. Pure, clean water of the most delicious taste and most pleasing aroma. This is what there is when we flow into the larger reality, when we accept ourselves as part of this larger, caring reality. This Sangha of ours, this community, the Buddhist community, is a bunch of muddy streams transforming into the single soothing, pure taste of the Dharma. The single soothing, pure taste of the Dharma is what we come to have as we flow into this one great ocean. We don't become perfect overnight. We do lose our offensive scent and our unpleasant look by becoming part of the Sangha, the Buddhist community. In following the Buddhist teachings, in becoming part of the Buddhist Sangha and saying the Buddha's name, we discover ourselves to be part of something vast and worthy, to be part of something vast and worthy. Reality, genuine awakening to itself, is including us. Reality awakening to itself is including us. That's what all the Buddhas are. Reality awakening to itself. That inclusion can be stated concretely. We can put this in concrete terms. The Buddha grasps us, never to abandon. That image is very old in our tradition. The Buddha grasps us, never to abandon. You're not going to be let go of. Very concrete. This incorporation into the life of Amida Buddha can be stated very sweetly. The Buddha loves you just as you are. That is true. That is true. Is it too simple for some of us? Not too simple for me. The Buddha loves you just as you are. We can put it simply and sweetly. And this is true. Our inclusion into the pure awakening of Amida's Buddhahood can be stated strongly. The Buddha has our back and will not step down. 10 days back, I was asked by the NBC reporter Darsha Phillips what I would say to those who burned the rainbow flag on our fence. And what I said to her was, we have the back of all marginalized persons and we will not step down. But this this isn't just me saying something to some reporter. This is the vow. That is what the Buddha is saying to us. The Buddha doesn't just embrace us, doesn't just love us. The Buddha has your back. The Buddha protects us. I talked a bit last week how Shakyamuni was raised in the warrior caste, and all these concepts come from protection. The kind of people whose essence was to protect others, to stop harm from happening to others. That's the good side of the military class, protection, defense. And this is what we see in the Buddha's acceptance. We are protected by the Buddha. We are embraced by the Buddha. We are loved by the Buddha. The Buddha has your back. We can walk more confidently knowing that. We can walk through our lives more confidently. This is a strong way of voicing the vow of Amida Buddha. The Buddha has your back and will not step down. The Buddha has the back of gay people, of straight people, of lesbian people, of bisexual people, of transgender people, of ordinary people like me, have nothing too distinctive about them in their lifestyle. The Buddha has the back of everyone. Every living thing is worthy of our concern, and Buddhas are people who wake up to that fact. Buddhas are those who know that every living being is part of this one life that flows to and is everything. You are part of our community, and we have your back. You are a living being, so the Buddha has your back. We may be able to live a little more relaxedly, feeling that the Buddha has your back. Again, we don't turn into perfect beings right away. We do come to be able to live in a natural and thankful way. That is a positive transformation. And it requires us to be inclusive. Genuine transformation is inclusivity. The only way to transform is to be included into something deeper and broader than your individual self. And you are part of something deeper and broader than an individual. Our individuality is based on life itself. It is one life that flows through everything and is waking up to itself as Buddhas, that is experiencing itself as us. We will one day wake up like the Buddha did, and we will transform into nothing but goodness, sweetness, and beauty, but we do that by being included. We do that by being included in something larger. Inclusivity is the only way we've got to go, and that's my message today. Real transformation is inclusivity. I thank you for listening, and I'm going to close the Dharma message portion of the service by saying the Buddha's name a few times. Join me as you choose. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Gibbs, for a very inspiring and important message. Will the Sangha please rise for a very short reflective reading, closing meditation? Your mind will always believe everything you tell it. Feed it faith, feed it truth, feed it with love. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. If you could all be seated, we have announcements right now. Well, I think we have a couple of events coming up at the temple. I think June 3rd is our bingo fundraiser. So please, anybody can come. You can still buy tickets. And, you can also buy a dinner to go along with your bingo playing. And on June 4th, this is for the Pasadena Japanese Cultural Institute, Miss PJCI. It's a fundraiser for Nisei Week. They're going to have a barbecue at around noontime. But also, they're going to have a pop-up kimono and other accessory stores. Barbara Yasuda is going to be coming onto our temple grounds, and you'll be able to buy things, for Obon or for other events. And anybody else? Any other announcements? Any other announcements?
Just mention that, I'll scoot right next to you
Yeah.
here, Kathy. Just mention next week is our Gotane service, the service commemorating the birthday of our denominational founder, Shinran. So it'll be slightly longer and slightly more elaborate, but still will be out within the hour. So hope to see you next week.
Right. And it is Mother's Day, too, for all of us. Okay. Well, thank you for attending the service. I appreciate it. And please offer incense if you haven't had the opportunity to do so. But thank you very much for coming. Bye-bye.